there? The ranger places?
No, the forest.
I don't understand.
Well, we are a group of concerned citizens, and we want to install alarm systems in the forest to alert the animals. You guys probably see the effects of people's lack of respect for fire all the time, right?
Yeah. Dad?
Yeah. This is Claude. What can I do for you?
Can you install a smoke alarm system in every forest in America?
This is a joke.
No, we just want to combat people's bad behavior and warn the animals when there's a fire.
Only you can prevent wildfires. Brought to you by Smokey Bear, the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, the Ad Council, and this station.
You'll drive half a mile down the road to save a few cents a gallon on gas. But did you know that you could save 9 cents a gallon if you were to just keep your tires properly inflated? Properly inflated tires give you a safer ride, improves gas mileage, and helps tires last longer. Underinflated tires can lower gas mileage and cost you money. So be tire smart, and the next time you pull up to pump gas, it might just be time to pump some money-saving air, too. A message from the Rubber Manufacturers Association.
Daddy, when you look at me, I could see your wheels turning. About what am I going to be when I grow up? A major league first baseman? Maybe a point guard for a national champion.
The odds of a child becoming a professional athlete are 1 in 16,000. Far-fetched? Maybe. But did you know the odds of a child being diagnosed with autism are 1 in 166? That's right, 1 in 166. To learn the signs of autism, go to autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Nail It, brought to you by the Anchorage Home Builders Association. I'm Vicki Portwood, your host. If you are remodeling or building, hire only skilled professionals that are licensed, bonded, and insured. The Anchorage Home Builders Association office has a great list of these professionals and their services. To get your list, call me, Vicki Portwood, at 522-3605 or visit our website at ahba.net. And we've been talking with Cody Lee and Stacy Dean of Grayling Construction. And I wanted to ask you, we were talking before the break about the company and the beginnings of your company and what you offer. What's your philosophy as a company?
Well, our philosophy is we've developed over time. When we come to do a remodel at your house, we just try to think of how you look at it when you have a contractor come into your house, and we want to treat you the same way that we'd want to be treated if we was hiring a contractor. So that's really the beginnings of our philosophy, and we're real selective on hiring people. We do background checks on all of our employees to make sure we have a good idea of who we're hiring, and we go as in-depth as we can with that. And so we just start working from our employees, because our employees is what makes the company, and they're the people that you have the most contact with, so you've got to be comfortable with those folks.
How many employees do you have?
Normally under 10.
Wow. And how many projects are you working on at a time?
We like to keep 2 sizable projects, and then we can work in smaller projects, because with that, there's a lot of time that we have with our electrical subs, plumbing subs come in and do work too, and so we kind of gauge our work on that. And so if we have a couple nice projects going at a time is normally how we do it.
Mm-hmm. Now, I know that in talking to you this morning that you might have had a late night last night.
Yeah.
And you weren't watching the Oscars.
And we weren't watching the Oscars, yeah. If there's anything comes up, then we're out on it, and we do a lot of different types of projects. When people have an issue, they give us a call. I pretty much answer my cell phone anytime, and we'll go out and deal with it.
So you were dealing with a leak last night?
Yes, we were dealing with a leak. Wasn't of our makings, but it was a problem, so we were out there.
Sure.
Doing it.
There's nothing worse than water. So let's switch gears here, and let's talk about when you are working with somebody that you're thinking about doing a remodel for you, what is it that you need to be asking the remodeling contractor? What do I need to ask you?
I would get a list of the names of all the people and the companies that are going to be working in your home. So find out, for instance, you're doing a kitchen remodel, who's the plumber going to be? And who is the electrician going to be? And get those companies' names and phone numbers. It's really important to know what employees are going to be on staff in your house and who the lead is going to be, which employee is going to be in charge.
And that's something we didn't really cover. When we go in to do a project, we assign a lead carpenter to that project, and he is the person that you communicate with from a day-to-day basis, and he's the one that's in control of the project. And if there's anything that you see that is a concern to you, that's who you can bring it up to immediately. Of course, Stacy and I will always take calls, but seems to be the best way. And he is the, if you will, the puppet master of making the job work. And he goes through and makes sure the subcontractors are doing what they're supposed to do and all that. He is on the job. Anytime a subcontractor's on the job, we make sure that one of our employees are there so that the subcontractor isn't coming to you and asking you questions that
maybe I don't know the
answers. Don't have a clue about.
Well, and that's a really nice comfort factor because I'm pretty sure I'm going to get to know your employee really well, and that's going to help me because I'm not there dealing with a subcontractor that I don't know.
Yeah, and you can come in and you look around, and if there's any questions you have, you know a person that you can go right to ask if you're wondering how that's going to work out or if that's what we had planned on. And so it does really help with the comfort factor.
So what else should I be asking? Not only about the subcontractors, but what else should I be asking that potential remodeler contract?
Who's going to get a key to your house? And how is that key going to be?
I never even thought about that.
Yeah. And after the project's finished, you do want to think about rekeying the house at that point. The contractor can do that for you, or you can have a outside locksmith take care of that. One of the things that we like to get, though, is actually a garage door opener. You can always change the switches inside the garage door opener yourself and never even have to have a locksmith come over and take care of that for you. We can even show you how to rekey it so that way there's no issue. We like garage doors. We can a lot of times set up our tools, our saws and things like that in the garage and then sweep up and clean up every day. It's a lot easier for us potentially to use the garage as a workspace.
Well, sure, because then you don't have to load and unload everything, because then that takes away from you working on my beautiful project.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I can see the finished project. Well, I know that the Anchorage Home Builders, we talk a lot about working with licensed, bonded, and insured contractors. So when I'm talking to somebody who's potentially going to come and remodel my house, what what proof do I need to get?
For a contractor's license?
Right. Because you can print it on a business card, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have it.
Right. You can go to the state website for contractor licensing and go ahead and do a search. You can do a search by the owner, or you can do a search by the business name, and you can find out that way whether they've got their license. There's also the city website, too.
Do you remember what the state website is?
Well, you know what? Call me at 522-3605, and I've got the state website at the office. So if anybody's wanting that website, because we encourage the public all the time to make sure that they're checking that the person is licensed, bonded, and insured, because you can tell me that all day long, but if you haven't actually done your paperwork and paid all of your fees to the state, nothing's going to help you at the end.
Yeah, there is a difference between licensing, too. There is a business license that's issued by the municipality, but there is a state contractor's license. And a lot of homeowners don't realize there's two different types of licensing. And with that licensing is insurance and bonding that's required for contractors, whereas a business license, that's not required.
Right. And then am I responsible for the permit? at the municipality, or how does that work?
It depends on how your contract's set up with your contractor, but we in our business now, we always take care of the permitting process for you. Some contractors prefer not to do that, but in our experience, we usually take care of the permit process. It's just a better relationship. We know how to deal with the municipality, and we still got to do all the call in for the inspections and all that kind of stuff. So it just works in our business. It works out better for us.
And the other thing that you should be looking at too is we all have insurance. Ask your contractor for a certificate of insurance, and that will break down their general liability policy, their workers' comp policy, their bonding, their commercial vehicle policy will all be listed on one page. It will tell you the dates of that policy and then the limits, how many dollars is their policy limited to. So if they've got a $500,000 general liability policy, that means that if they have an accident in your house, they set it on fire, they flood it, whatever it may be, that the policy is good up to that amount.
Well, and if I haven't done the checking and the person doesn't have insurance, then if they get hurt on the job site, which is my house, then I, as the homeowner, have to pay for that. There is nobody out there that's going to help me out. And so if they've lied to me and told me that they're licensed, bonded, and insured, and they're not, then it falls back to the homeowner. And I think a lot of times the homeowners out there don't understand that, and they just take it on blind faith that somebody does have the proper license, bonding, and insurance, and then they get into a problem, and then they find out, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, homeowners really need to do their due diligence for when they're going to hire a contractor on looking up the contractor. The best thing is references. When you first start going to get a contractor, look them up on the state website, make sure all their licensing is appropriate. And then once you've met the contractor and you feel that that's the contractor you want to work with, then you want to get references from the contractor. Talk to some of the other people the contractors has worked for. And as Stacy said earlier, talk to them about how they operate their business. Is the people, do they subcontract out 100%? Do they have in-house employees? Is the employees going to be on the job while the job's happening and the subcontractors are there? How all this is going to transpire. You really want to do your due diligence on that.
Well, what is anything that we've forgotten that person out there listening to the show today ought to be thinking about when they're thinking about looking at a remodel project?
Like I said, one of the big things is budget. The internet now give the people ability to look up a lot of things. There's a cost of remodeling out there that will give you some basic ideas of what it's going to cost to remodel your kitchen. There's all the home and garden shows on TV. Some of the numbers that you hear on those aren't necessarily a realistic number. So that's one of the first things you want to start doing.
Well, and on the ahba.net website, we do have a cost of remodeling study that gives pricing for the Anchorage area. So that'll give you a good starting point so that when Cody and Stacy come out to your house, you're not going to have sticker shock. This is Nail It, brought to you by the Anchorage Home Builders Association. And our guests today have been Cody Lee and Stacy Dean of Grayling Construction.
If you're a veteran of Iraq or Afghanistan, like me, coming home can be harder than expected. I felt a little out of place, but it turns out I wasn't alone. At IAVA.org, there's a free online community of thousands of OIF and OEF vets who've got your back here, just like they did over there. So now, I'm never alone. I can get the resources I need and talk to tons of people who understand where I'm